What's going on, y'all? We're back, and I'm your host, Paco. You're listening to Occupy the Media. I'm filling in for Hank Xavier today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but we're going to keep it going, keep the revolution moving. If you haven't already, we got to keep saying this. Can't say it enough. You got to make sure you donate to RonPaul2012.com. We got to keep the tour going. We got to keep him going to all these rallies, flying around the country. That's what's getting everybody hyped. That's what's getting everybody together, bringing more and more people together. And we got to reach 2.5 million. So now, also want to remind, Rhode Island will be holding their primary Tuesday, April 24th. So make sure you get out and vote if you're out in Rhode Island. Also, Ron Paul will be holding a town hall today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at Cornell University at Lionel Ring. So if you can make it, that's at 536 Campus Road, Ithaca, New York. And let's see here. Also, on April 19th, not April 20th, there will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at University of Pittsburgh, a rally, Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall Auditorium, 4141 5th Avenue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And also in Philadelphia, Independence Mall, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, April 22nd, south side of Independence Mall at 1 North Independence Mall West, Philadelphia, 19106. And now I just want to say also before the break, I had a little cut up in my audio, so I apologize. We're still working the little kinks out, but we'll be getting that down pat. Now, I wanted to speak about an article I came across that I think is very important. I think we should be spreading the message around because, we need more people to defend Ron Paul. The media likes to say that he's crazy. Some people say he's racist, anti-Semitic, all types of things, but, he's none of that. He's just all about freedom, all about free choice. And there's an article called What Ron Paul Did for Me. This is African-American woman. She was in jail. Now, it doesn't talk about why she went to jail. I believe it's because she was an ex-IRS agent, and I think she wasn't paying her taxes, or she was saying that it was illegal to have to pay taxes. I'd have to look it up, but she was on America, Freedom to Fascism with Ron Paul. Let's see here. Many of you don't know that Ron Paul played a part in my rescue when I was in prison. First, let me say that I met Ron Paul a couple of times before I went to the Slammer, and he and his wife were gracious and warm. Even though we didn't get together during the filming of Aaron Russo's movie America, Freedom to Fascism, both of us were featured in the movie. When I was ill in late 2009, there was an outcry after people were informed of the severity of my condition. I had written a letter to my U.S. Congressman, Hank Johnson, through email and forwarded to my husband and delivered to him since the congressman was not on my approved email list. And then it says that someone got in touch with Ron Paul's office. I don't live in Texas, but he and his staff took action and contacted the prison with the demand for information about my situation. Shortly after Ron Paul's inquiry about my treatment, I was shipped away to a high-security prison. While in solitary confinement there, my medical situation was constantly observed, and I was treated with respect by the medical staff. Along with Congressman Hank Johnson, I believe that Congressman Ron Paul's eye on the situation got me the care that I needed so that my condition did not go critical. I was in really bad shape, as you can see here, and then she posts a picture. Excuse me. For those that say Ron Paul is a racist, you would never be able to convince me of that. His actions speak louder than words. He has delivered thousands of lives into this world of all races and colors. He has helped people of all races even when it was not popular and could have put him and his family's lives in danger. For those that say that Ron Paul is a nut, a large oak tree is yesterday's nut that held its ground. For over 30 years, Ron Paul has not switched his position on any of the socio-political issues of our day. You can call him a nut if you want, but at least he's not a flip-flopper that changes his position with the ebb and flow of the masses. For those that say that Ron Paul can't win, God says nothing is impossible with him. He's sticking to his guns and staying in the race shows me that he cares not only about his own family, for he could have made a fortune and milked the country like others. He could have taken bribes, high-paying corporate positions, or even created policies that would have enriched him and his family for generations to come. Instead, his stick-to-it attitude shows me that he cares about me, about us, about America as a whole, about the rule of law, about justice, about equality. Very few people in power care about you. I hope you understand that fact. And she goes on to say more nice things about Ron Paul, and Let's see here. She wanted that. Well, she sent a thank you letter to Ron Paul's offices in Texas and in D.C. I wanted them to know that I appreciate them reaching down to help a lowly prisoner that was afraid for her life. Life that is important to us as humans, or at least should be. Do the people that you trust and endorse care if you live or die? And she says, pause and think about that. So, you know, it's really nice to see that Ron Paul doesn't have to brag about these things. He doesn't have to go around talking about them. We do that for him. You know, we brag for him. We stick up for him. We just need more of us to do this. You know, we need more of us to jump on the bandwagon, more old Obama supporters, you know, Newt supporters, Santorum supporters, whoever. The establishment ain't going to change, you know, unless we take over, which that's what we're doing. But regardless of what they think, we don't need them. We just need the people. We just need the masses to come out. Because remember, a lot of people don't even vote. So there's a lot of people out there that's not even in the game. They're not even involved. They're not even getting down with us. They're not voting. They're not registering. None of that. So just imagine if we can just keep bringing in new people, registering more people, you know, we could take over the GOP, take over the Democrat Party, take over all the parties, and, you know, bring back the Constitution. And I'm just glad to hear that Ron Paul looked out for somebody, you know, when he didn't have to, when nobody was watching. And that just shows you his character, you know. Also, he spoke out for Bradley Manning, and I want to play that real briefly until the break. I was having a little issues with my audio earlier, my second audio. Let me see if everything is fine now, so I apologize if it clips a little bit. Let's see. Let's see here.
Paul, my question to you is that you know, I believe that open and transparent government is an important part of a government being accountable to the people, and indeed Obama made the same sort of promises, and he's obviously failed on that. The most visible example is Bradley Manning and the WikiLeaks issue. In your administration, what would you do to safeguard government transparency, and specifically, what would you do about Bradley Manning?
I'd have him protected under the Whistleblowers Act. No, I think this issue is a very important issue because I maintain that government becomes more secret and the people's privacy is being destroyed. We should protect the people's privacy and we should make government much more open. We could start with the Federal Reserve System. But whistleblowers should be protected if they're telling the truth and they're not doing it for the purpose of being a traitor. I mean, Bradley Manning, I imagine some people ought to think it through, but from what I can see from my viewpoint is that his motivation had nothing to do with helping the enemy. Matter of fact, the names and people that could have been injured that were removed, nobody has ever.
Okay, so once again, Ron Paul is sticking up for Bradley Manning and everybody else. You know, the ex-IRS agent, Bradley Manning, for all of us, for the Constitution. I'm Paco. We'll be back. You're listening to Occupy the Media.
One is a serial hypocrite who lobbied for Freddie Mac before the housing crisis and for the individual mandate before Obamacare. Another, a counterfeit conservative who opposes right to work, massively increased spending, and funded Planned Parenthood. Finally, a flip-flopper who's been on all sides, supported TARP bailouts, and provided the blueprint for Obamacare. 3 men, 1 vision, more big government, more mandates, less freedom. 1 man stands apart, ready to deliver real change, voting against every tax increase and every unbalanced budget every time. A real plan to cut $1 trillion year 1 and to balance the budget in 3. Pro-life, pro-right to work, guided by faith and principle. Ron Paul, the one who will restore America now.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
1 serial hypocrite exposed.
He went the other way when he got paid to go the other way.
Now, another has emerged. Rick Santorum, a corporate lobbyist and Washington politician, a record of betrayal. The facts? Santorum promised a balanced budget amendment, then voted 5 times to raise the debt ceiling, even for the bridge to nowhere, adding trillions to the debt. Then he